everyone. Welcome back to the Overflowing Glass. This is the start of season 4, and I am so excited to have you with me. And I wanted to talk today about, first, I wanted to do a reflection of 2020. Some of you might not like what I have to say, but I'm going to say it anyway. And the second part is where I plan on going in 2021. So in 2020, I hear so many people just saying it was a dumpster fire, it was the worst year ever, it was the most horrible thing. But what if it wasn't? Hear me out. A lot of bad things have happened in 2020. 2020 was hard. There is no getting past that. I don't think there was anybody that wasn't affected somehow by the events of 2020, whether it was political, whether it was through the coronavirus, having to homeschool our kids, whether it was the Black Lives Matter movement, whatever it was, something most likely impacted you in some way. 2020 has been a tough year. For me personally, it was probably one of the hardest years of my life. It started out wonderfully. On January 1st last year, I was looking into getting my pharmacy tech license to transfer out here to California. I was taking care of some other stuff on my personal spectrum that needed to be done. Things were great. And then the coronavirus hit and fear hit, and it hit everybody. And right around that time, very shortly after going into lockdown, was also when my relationship ended. And that was like my awakening, my holy shit moment, because I had a choice. Did I want to stay in a town I didn't love, in a state I didn't love? I didn't get the sunshine I needed. I didn't feel like I was being supported by people that I was surrounded by. In honesty, I felt like I was pretty much disliked and hated. Did I want to stay in that situation, or did I want to continue my plans to move to California? And I decided, even though that person I was seeing was no longer in my life, I still needed a drastic change in my life. I still needed a drastic change in scenery, in weather. Oh my gosh, the weather is phenomenal here. I needed a change in everything. I needed to learn to be independent. I needed to learn to really go into myself and love myself and find my inner strength. And I couldn't do that in the situation I was in. The situation I was in, while I was grateful to have a place to stay, it was oppressive. I wasn't able to be fully myself. I wasn't able to grow, and I never felt completely supported in my dreams and decisions I wanted to do. So I had a decision. Do I stay there or do I still move? And I chose to still move. And I will be honest, it is one of the best decisions I think I've ever made. I absolutely love it here. It's amazing and incredible. Part of that decision, though, was, so when I first was making plans to move down here, I knew one person. I knew that one person I was dating, and that was it. If I was going to move down here and go after my dreams, I needed to network. I needed to make friends. I needed to get to know people. I needed to get to know businesses. I needed to get to know the culture. And so this pushed me. This pushed me so far outside my comfort zone, because I am usually, I used to be. I don't want to say anymore. I used to be very shy and reserved. I used to have a very hard time making friends. I really had a hard time striking up conversations, meeting people, and being thrown into this city where I know nobody now, because the one person I know, of course, we aren't conversing. Now I know nobody. So how do I handle this? And what impact do I want to have on this city? Where do I want to fit in? What groups do I want to hang out with? Who do I want to be my people? I had to make those decisions and go after it. And I immediately said, the art community. The art community is incredible, and the culture here is just absolutely amazing. When I came down here in February, the gentleman that I came to see, he drove me around to look at graffiti murals. And that's where my interest in the art community here in Fresno started, was just looking at graffiti and being amazed and loving the artistry involved. And that just put me on this whole trajectory of meeting not only artists in terms of painting and drawing, but also that make jewelry. Oh my gosh, I bought some amazing jewelry from people that make clothing, that make food. Oh my gosh, the food, you guys. And music. Oh my gosh, there's some great musicians out here. So yes, 2020 was hard in that first I had the coronavirus, and then I had to make that decision. Do I come down here alone or do I stay up there? And I came down here, and that broke my heart. I mean, as happy as I am that I moved, and as much as I love it here, leaving behind something that you've known for 4 years is hard. And I still have a few friends up in the Portland area that are near and dear to my heart and I love so much. And I miss them every day. So it was still hard. And then shortly before moving here, I got things finalized in the relationship with my daughter's dad. That was also very heartbreaking and hard. And then I move here and things are okay for a while. You know, I'm doing my thing. I'm working. I'm being a pharmacy tech. People are loving me. They're loving my attitude that I bring and my energy. And I'm starting to make friends and go out with my friends on the weekends. And then I find out that schools aren't reopening at all. So I had to figure out, what do I do with my child? Because I already felt bad being gone working for the day and my child being home. I mean, yes, I stayed home alone much younger. They're completely able to make their own food, very, knows where the emergency numbers are, stuff like that. Like, she's good. But to me, it wasn't right. And something just hit me one night when I was working. I had a maintenance emergency and had to have maintenance come in my house and fix it. I wasn't home, but my child was. And maintenance was just really nice. They were like, we can't come in while there's an unattended minor in the house. And that got me freaked out. It got me scared. I was like, what if I get reported? I mean, yes, there's no laws for how young a child can be. And my child is very responsible. I did research the laws, and if your child shows that they're responsible, know what to do in emergency, things like that, then you're fine. So I was fine, but I still, something felt wrong. And that night, I just decided to quit my job. I put in my 2 weeks notice. I said, you know what? I need to be there for my child. This isn't right. I need to be there. So I quit a job of 18 years to stay home with my child. I haven't looked back. I'll be honest. I don't miss it at all. I absolutely don't miss it. I miss my friends. I miss the people. I have made some incredible friends, some amazing contacts, and shout out to my lady managers. You ladies are freaking awesome. But I haven't looked back, and I know that my child is here in case, I am here for my child in case anything happens. One day we had a huge windstorm and this massive branch was about to fall into their window. I had to take care of that. What would have happened if I wasn't home? I had to take care of that and get maintenance out here and be like, take care of this or it's going to break the window. So I had that to deal with, and being home with my child has been amazing. It's given me time to really work on my podcast, really to start my videos. I'm excited that I have videos now. I wouldn't have done that if I stayed home or if I had gone to work every day. Yes, I have drained my savings completely. Now I'm in the end of the year rush, what am I going to do? But I have faith and I'm going to figure it out. Another way 2020 has really reshaped my mind and my heart is relationships, not just romantic, but also friendships. I've really learned who has my back, who doesn't. I've learned that family is what you make of it and not necessarily who you're born into. I've actually, speaking of family, become closer with some of my family members, and that makes me incredibly, incredibly happy and joyous. I love getting closer to my family. And then there's other family members I haven't talked to and kind of refuse to talk to me. And I'm like, okay, like we don't mesh, and that's okay. I've learned to forgive and to move on and find my people that really do lift me up and inspire me and help me be a better person. I've also learned how to spot red flags and to really, really build my boundaries and stick to them. So for an example, a friend of mine knows some of my boundaries, and those boundaries kept getting crossed over and over and over. And I've said multiple times, I don't like when you say this about me. It makes me extremely uncomfortable. Here are the reasons why what you're saying is false. And that loud noise is our fridge. The fridge's name is Brian. And Brian, calm down. He's being a little feisty right now. I didn't even realize that he was loud. But I've had people really push my boundaries, and I've learned to say stop and basically get out of my life if you can't handle my boundaries. I've ended what I thought were very good friendships because I learned how to stand up for my boundaries, not be taken advantage of, and not be made fun of when it is a subject that I'm not comfortable with. So 2020, although hard, has been eye-opening. And before I even went into 2020, in December of 2019, I was thinking 2020 vision, the year of clarity, being able to see clearly. And I do feel like that's what's happened. I feel like basically everything's been pulled away and I can see clearly inside myself. I can see clearly with other people. I've learned to really trust my intuition, really have faith in myself and in my higher power. 2020 has been painful. I have been ripped to shreds. I have cried so hard I've thrown up. I have cried so long that it's caused sinus infections. I have had symptoms for coronavirus twice and had to be in full complete quarantine twice, even though I tested negative. Yay! It's been hard. I'm not going to say 2020 wasn't hard, but if we can change our perspective to what did we learn from this in terms of a country or as a world, what did we learn? What about loopholes and cracks in the system, injustices, things that aren't right that we can now fix because we know about them? There were a lot of things I didn't know about, especially when Black Lives Matter, when we had all the protests and all the rioting. I learned so much and have gained a greater appreciation for people of color that wouldn't have happened had these cracks in the system not been shown. So it's because of these cracks in the system, also about how the coronavirus was handled, our political system right now. It's how these things were handled that really it opened my eyes and said, this is what's wrong, this is what we need to do to fix it. And sometimes we really do need hard times to really open ourselves up and open our eyes. If we don't know something's wrong, then how do we fix it? And I feel like 2020 was the year to just expose everything. So I am, in general, very grateful for 2020. I'm very grateful for the dumpster fire, gut-wrenching, job-losing hell of a year we had. because I am stronger than I've ever been. I'm more compassionate than I've ever been. I'm more outgoing than I've ever been. I am more loving than I've ever been. And most importantly, I love myself. For the first time in my life, I love myself. Sorry, I didn't think I'd get emotional. But I love myself, and if all this stuff didn't happen, and I didn't learn how strong I was, I would still be trying to get my validation from very under average men that treat me like shit. And now I know that I am better than that. And it took falling hard to know that I'm better than that. So all in all, I am grateful for 2020. It's also brought me closer to my higher power. It's taught me to have faith when I didn't have faith before. I'm happy about it. I'm devastated. I'm devastated from all the loss. But I'm happy about the outcome. I think we can grow and be better as a society and as a whole, and I can grow and be better as a person. Be right back. Okay, I'm back. I had to go get my support animal, my squishy unicorn, because now I want to talk about 2021. My plans for it. What are we going to do? Well, my plans for the video. I have so much in store and I'm so excited. I am going to do a morning routine, a night routine. I'm going to do my wellness and exercise routines. I also have been asked to film a house tour, so I would love to do that. I have a lot of things in store. I will probably try to figure out filming, backdrop, things like that. I've noticed the lighting here is very finicky and also the sound. So I'm going to keep, every season I try to improve something in terms of quality. So I will keep doing that. I will also keep being real with you guys and not sugarcoating things and just being honest, because that's who I am. I mean, that's what I do. In terms of me personally, I don't believe in New Year's resolutions, because I believe we can start a goal any time of the day, any day of the week, any month of the year, we can start a goal. But I am kind of almost forced to look back at the past year and say, okay, what do I want to do now? I have a couple ideas for books I'm writing. I really need to polish up my high vibe wardrobe course and re-release that. I got some amazing constructive criticism, and so I will be definitely polishing that up, making it a better product. I am going back to school starting January 11th. I'm going back to school for psychology. I eventually would like to get my master's and possibly be a therapist or counselor. And in terms of health and fitness, I love my body. I love my curves. I even love my little panza. It's not very little, guys. Come on now. Who am I kidding? But my goal is to make sure that all of my levels are healthy. Blood sugar, blood pressure, cholesterol, that I can run and breathe and do the activities I want to do without activating my asthma or without feeling achy and painful. So my goal is just to feel amazing in my body in terms of health. In terms of relationships and friendships, just cultivating the best people I can around me and surrounding myself with love. And occasionally, now I'm not saying people that don't push my buttons, because I do like to be challenged, but as long as it's done in a respectful way. I plan on reading a lot of books this year. I really didn't read as much as I wanted to last year. Last year, my goal was to read one book a month by a person of color, and I didn't do that. Not that I chose to read books from white people, I just didn't read. I had a really hard time concentrating and focusing. And now I'm going to really make time to read and make an atmosphere to read. So those are my goals. That's where my direction will be for 2021. And my word for 2021 is rebuild. I'm going to rebuild myself. I'm going to be the person that I've always wanted to be, the person that I've always dreamed of being, the person that I visualize when I do visualizations. I am going to be that person this year, and I'm starting today. Because what better day to start? So I really hope this year brings you much needed rest, hope, faith, some relaxation, maybe some fun. I hope this year is much better. I hope it's no longer a dumpster fire. And please be safe. Coronavirus is still a thing. Be safe out there. And don't forget to fill yourself up with love and light, so then you're free to give to everybody else. I love you. Bye.